my dear students. How are you all? I hope you all are good and enthusiastic towards your studies. Myself, Teacher Parul, welcomes you all in the science class. In this video, we are going to continue our chapter 4, part 2, the last part of this chapter. Okay, so we are going to continue with our chapter 4, that is materials, metals and non-metals. We will move ahead with this chapter, and in this video we are going to end this chapter. So here are the following topics which we are going to cover in this video. The topics which we are going to cover in this video are chemical properties of metals and non-metals and uses of metals and non-metals. So my dear students, let us learn in detail about the chemical properties of metals and non-metals and the uses of metals. As in previous video we have seen what are metals, what are non-metals, we have seen different examples of metals, even we have seen the uses of metals and non-metals, we have seen malleability, ductility, sonorous sound of metals. Okay, so now in this video we will move ahead with the next part of the science chapter 4, materials, metals and non-metals. So let us begin with that. Chemical properties of metals. So a few of the chemical properties of metals are listed below. So let us say that usually the density of metals is high. Okay, the density of metal is high. Metals are ductile, long lasting and are malleable. Okay, they can be converted into thin sheets. Metals form an alloy either with other metals or with the non-metals. Okay, metals, they form alloy with other metals or with the same metals. So what is this alloy? So a metal made up of combining two or more metallic elements, especially to have greater strength or resistance to corrosion. That type of substances are known as alloys. Okay. Then some metals like iron react with air and are corroded. Metals except lead are good conductor of heat and electricity. Okay. In general, except from mercury, all metals are in solid state at room temperature, but mercury belongs to a liquid state. Okay. More metals produce metal oxide by burning in the oxygen of the air. Highly reactive metals react forcefully when they burnt in the oxygen. Metals like potassium and sodium are stored in oil as they react with air in seconds. They belong to highly reactive metals. Okay, metals like potassium and sodium, they are stored where in oil as they get reacted to the air in seconds only. Okay, so they are highly reactive metals. Less reactive metals like silver, gold, platinum and other related ones do not tarnish easily. They stay lustrous and shiny. Okay, tanning is not there in them. Okay, so they remain lustrous for longer time. Okay, metals produce hydrogen gas and metal oxide while reacting with water. Okay, when metals it react with water, it produce hydrogen gas and metal oxide while reacting with water. The equations we will see ahead. Okay, soluble metal oxides dissolve in water and form metal hydroxide. Okay, soluble metals, okay, the metals which are soluble, they get dissolved in the water and they form metal hydroxide as they are dissolved in the water. Okay, and water contains hydroxide group. That's why not every metal react with water. However, highly reactive metals such as sodium and potassium react with water violently, and an exothermic reaction takes place where the hydrogen catches fire immediately. Okay, exothermic reaction is taking place here. So exothermic reaction means it releases energy in the form of the heat or light. Okay, like we can take one example of exothermic reaction, that is matching a light using matchstick. Okay, we light fire something while using a matchstick, that is exothermic reaction. They release energy in the form of the heat or in the form of the light. Okay, with that it can catch fire also immediately. Okay, I hope till here it is clear to you. Chemical properties of non-metals. Just now we have completed chemical properties of metals. Now we are going to see the chemical properties of non-metals. So non-metals except gas, carbon and graphite are poor conductor of heat and electricity. Unlike metals, non-metals are not ductile and malleable. Okay, they are not long lasting and they are not malleable. Non-metals react more with metals as compared to the non-metals. Non-metals usually react with other non-metals at high temperatures. Most non-metals do not react with air at the room temperature. Non-metals usually don't react with water except for chlorine. Chlorine dissolves in water to produce an acidic solution. Okay, non-metals, they don't usually react with water, but the chlorine it dissolves in the water and forms an acidic solution. Okay, non-metals have low density as compared to the metals. Non-metals do not form alloys. Okay, what is alloy? I have already explained you. Mixing of the two metals. Okay, two different substances. Now non-metals, they do not form alloy. However, some like carbon, silicon and phosphorus, they can form alloy. They can get mixed up with the other substance. At room temperature, non-metals exist in all states of matter. Okay, at room temperature, non-metals, they can exist in all states of matter. Different non-metals always have different reaction. Okay, obviously different non-metals, they will always have different reactions. Okay, now let us see the word equation, the reaction with different substances like water, oxygen. Okay, so let us see that the reactions. Chemical properties of metals with the word equation. Okay, metals, they combine with oxygen to form metal oxide. Okay, metals, they combine with the oxygen and they form metal oxide. Let us see which metal is reacted. So copper is reacted with oxygen and copper oxide is formed, as you can see in the equation. Aluminium is also reacted with oxygen. Yes, as you can see in the equation. Most metal oxides are insoluble in water, which I have already told you. Okay, if metal oxides are soluble, they form alkali. Okay, if metal oxides are soluble in water, what they form? They form alkali, as you can see in the below equation, Na2O plus H2O. Okay, it gives you what? Sodium hydroxide. Okay, it is giving you one metal oxide, that is the sodium hydroxide. Okay, so means they are forming alkali. Here down you can see K2O plus water is given and they are forming potassium hydroxide, that is 2KOH. Okay, so sodium potassium reacts very easily with oxygen, so they are kept immersed in the kerosene. Okay, they are kept where? They are dipped, they are immersed in the kerosene. Okay, in previous video I have showed you the cutting of this sodium and potassium, right? So it was removed, it was dipped, it was already dipped in the kerosene. Okay, and then it was removed from there and the cutting was showed to you. Okay, so now this magnesium, aluminium, zinc, lead, okay, form thin layers of oxides when kept in the air. So I hope till here it is clear to you. Now let us move ahead. Different types of the reactions. The first one is the displacement reaction. Okay, in this reaction, a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from their compound in aqueous solution. Okay, now in this displacement reaction, something is displaced. Okay, at the one place or it comes the another substance sits, so something is displaced by the other metals. Okay, so a more reactive metal displaces a very less reactive metal from their compound in aqueous solution. Aqueous solution means the compound is mixed or is done in the presence of water. Okay, however, less reactive metal cannot displace a more reactive metal. Okay, only a more reactive metal can remove the less reactive metal, but the less reactive metal, they can't remove the more reactive metal. Okay, so as you can see below, examples are given. Copper sulfate CuSO4 is given, which is blue in color, plus zinc is given. So this copper, it is removed by the zinc and zinc sulfide is formed. okay, which is colorless, and copper is removed separately. So the more reactive substance has replaced the less reactive metal. Okay, as you can see, copper sulfate plus zinc will give you zinc sulfate and copper. Then lead, reaction of lead is given Pb plus CuCl2, which gives this copper is again displaced by the lead. So PbCl2 plus copper. Now the double displacement, now this was a single displacement reaction, only a single compound was getting replaced by the other one, okay, as you can see in the screen. Now in double displacement reaction, double things will be displaced, okay. So in this reaction, exchange of ion occur between two different compounds, okay. See, as you can see in the equation, last line, okay, Na2SO4 plus BaCl2. So this barium has formed a reaction with the sulfate group and it is forming barium sulfate, okay, and sodium and chlorine has reacted and they have formed NaCl, that is sodium chloride, okay. So here double displacement reaction has occurred because the reaction, the exchange and the exchange of the ions, or you can tell displacement, is occurred between the two different compounds, okay. I hope this double displacement and displacement reaction is clear to you, okay. Now let us move ahead. Now we are going to see the reactions with acids, okay. Metal is when reacted with dilute acid, okay. Dilute acid means the strong acid is not taken, okay. So dilute acid, it will give you metal salt and hydrogen will be evolved, okay. Now hydrogen does not evolve in the case of HNO3, as it is a strong oxidizing agent, it oxidizes hydrogen, okay. Now what is this oxidizing agent? Let us see. Oxidizing means what it can do, it can remove the electron from one molecule in a chemical reaction, okay. They can do it very easily. So hydrogen does not evolve in the case of HNO3 as it is a strong oxidizing agent, okay. So it oxidizes only hydrogen, okay, that is H2. Now copper does not react with acids like dilute H2SO4 and dilute HCl, okay. Copper, it does not react with any kind of the acid. There will be no reaction of copper with the acids, okay, whether it is H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid, or HCl, that is hydrochloric acid. Reaction with bases, okay. Now metals react with bases to produce hydrogen gas. Reaction of non-metal with bases are complex reaction, okay. Metals, they react with bases and they produce the hydrogen gas, but reaction with non-metals with base are complex type of the reactions. Uses of metals. Metals are used in making machinery, automobiles, jewelries. Metals are even used in trains, aeroplanes, cooking utensils, and many more things. Gold is used for making jewelry, wires, and coins, and in the dentistry. Okay. Other metals like silver is used for making silver coins, silver ornaments, very thin wires, table cutlery, and in photographic films. Most probably silver is used in making silver ornaments. Okay. Very thin, even it is used in making very thin wires, table cutlery, and in also in the photographic films. Many uses of silver we have seen in part 1 also. Other metals such as copper is used for making wires, utensils, statues, alloys, and coins. Copper, most probably it is used in making alloys, okay. Other metals such as iron and tin. Iron is used for the construction of ships, buildings, automobiles, railway bridges, etc. Iron is used in many different things. Tin is used for tinning food cans, okay. Cans you have seen, no, and making in alloy, okay. It is also used in the preparation of the alloys. Zinc is used in the prevention of rusting, making brass and bronze, and in dry cells. Aluminium is used in making wires, foils and alloys. Most probably everyone has seen aluminium foils to keep food. Okay, usually in tiffin when you bring something hot, your mother wraps that food in aluminium foil and gives you, right? Okay, mercury is used for making amalgams and in the thermometers. Most commonly mercury everyone has seen in the thermometers. Magnesium is used for making fireworks and alloys. Okay, in the crackers and all, magnesium is used. I hope till here it is clear to you. Let us move ahead. Uses of non-metals. Non-metals, they are used in fertilizers, in water purification process, crackers, etc. Oxygen, a non-metal, is essential for our life as all living beings inhale it during breathing. Okay. Now, nitrogen dilutes the activity of oxygen in air. It is used by plants to manufacture proteins. Okay. Non-metal oxygen is essential for respiration and for the combustion of the fuels. Chlorine, one of the non-metal, is used for bleaching fabrics, sterilization of drinking water, and in manufacturing of insecticides and pesticides. Okay, chlorine is also used in the manufacturing of insecticides and pesticides. Iodine is essential for proper functioning of human body. Okay, iodine, it is very much essential for the proper functioning of the human body, and it is also used in the photographic films. Other non-metals such as graphite, helium and argon. Graphite is used as pencil lead, dry lubricant in electrolytic cell and nuclear reactors. Okay, graphite, you are using pencils, my dear students, right? So in that pencil, that lead of the pencil, it is prepared by using the graphite. This graphite is also used as dry lubricant in electrolytic cell and in the nuclear reactors. Helium is a noble gas which is used in weather observation balloons. Okay, argon is a noble gas which is used for filling electric bulbs. Okay, this helium and argon, they are known as noble gas. Why they are known as noble gas? Because they doesn't react with any other substance. Okay, so that's why they are known as the noble gas and they are used in the weather observation balloons, and argon is used in the filling of the electric bulbs. Okay, my dear students, I hope you have understood till here. With this, I have ended this chapter, explanation of the chapter 4, materials, metals and non-metals. If you have any queries, you can call me. Okay, so my dear students, with this we have ended this chapter. I will be back with another new video of a new chapter. Till then, my dear students, stay safe, stay healthy, keep studying. See you all soon. Bye bye.